Welcome to Soccer Gaming, and welcome to the channel that will bring you guides, builds, tutorials on MLB The Show 24. And in this episode, we're going to be covering the Team Affinity programs. I do this every year. I kind of cover what you're going to get along the way. I also cover ways of getting it done quickly, because there is a little something different this year that's been happening that you can kind of take advantage of and kind of complete these quicker without spending so much time with gameplay. So I will go over all that in this video. So if you'd like to watch that, stick around. So as always, there's always the 6 divisions in baseball that you get the Team Affinity. And the reason you want to do the Team Affinities is you get a lot of players along the way, you get a lot of packs, but ultimately some of these players are going to be really good, and there are going to be players that you need later on to be able to complete certain programs and collections and all of that stuff. So it's one of those things that, like, you probably don't need to hit early on. Like, you don't need to do this first, but you need to kind of be working towards getting some Team Affinity stuff done, so that way you can build your team up quicker and quicker and get better players and basically beat things easier and quick. So the first thing we're going to do is go through the points. I'm not going to go through every single, every single person you're going to get, but just kind of going through these, see what you get along the way. You're going to be obviously getting live series cards. You're going to get a couple of bonus habit packs. You're going to get normal packs. At 60 is where you're going to be getting your first selection of players. You get all of these when you complete Team Affinity anyway. So what I'm suggesting is selecting a player that you think you can either do well with. If it's a player that you just kind of need for your club, like I have no great third baseman, so pick a third baseman going in here. Or, as I'll kind of go through later in the video, is that there's certain players that can get you a very high Team Affinity rate, and so you're going to want to select those first when you're going through here. But was this NL or AL East, there's nobody that's like that, so you can either do a pitcher, a hitter, whatever you want to do. Actually, they're all hitters, so you're gonna have to select hitters in this, but you're gonna get one at 60, one at 100, one at 130, one at 170, and then the final one at 200,000. And as with every year, you can do the exchange route. You could do the moments, which I would suggest either do first or do the conquest first. Probably do the moments first, because the moments are going to give you some Team Affinity points that you can start getting players on your team that'll help you in running into the conquest. So I would actually do the moments first in every division. I would do division at a time, do the AL East, do the AL Central, do the AL West, then go to the NL side, do all the moments before you start jumping into conquest, because once you start into the conquest, then those players can start getting stats, getting Team Affinity points for you as well. So my first thing to do the moments for every single Team Affinity, and then we can start doing the missions and the conquest, or do the conquest. And in the conquest, you'll be able to complete these repeatable missions here, which is just get parallel XP with certain, Orioles, Red Sox players, Rays players, all that. You got the multiplayer, which if you want to do these, you can as well. Keep in mind, these are only for 1v1 ranked, Battle Royale, and events. This isn't for, playing offline stuff like, well, this is ranked playoff or ranked co-op, but single player stuff is where you're going to kind of, if you're an offline player and trying to get stuff done, this is where you're going to do that. You're going to put these players in your lineups, and then you're going to try to be getting all of these chapter 1 quests done. There are ones later on I'll show you that you can kind of manipulate players to get them a ton of Team Affinity points throughout kind of just pitching them. So but yeah, definitely do the moments first, then start putting those players in your lineup and knock out the conquest. And while doing that, you're going to be knocking out this parallel XP missions and some single player missions there as well. And then once you get to certain cards, which is 60, you're going to want to make sure that whatever card you select here, you put into your lineup right away. So that way these missions where you get All-Star RBI with whatever, Hall of Fame difficulty, all this stuff, you're able to use them. Same thing here with the ALE boss repeatable 20 total bags with Mullins, Euclid, Sanchez, Longoria, Sean Green. All of these players, as you're getting them, throw them in your lineup, because this is a repeatable task, which means you can do it over and over again. So you get 20 total bases here, you get 15,000 Team Affinity points. It resets to 0. then you get another 20, then you get another 15,000 Team Affinity points, and that's how you're going to quickly build up your basically thing. Because I'm telling you this year, normally I tell you like do March to October with a team like Houston. That's easy to do. You're going to get a ton of points quickly, but the March to October, even if you do it quickly, it takes about 10 to 15 hours to complete. And yes, you look at this and you're like, yeah, but if I complete on an all-star, like, look, I'm getting, you know, 17,000 for all-star break. I'm getting it for the end of the season. If I win throughout the season, like 80,000 Team Affinity points for 10 hours is going to be about what, 8,000 Team Affinity points an hour. Well, guess what? If you go to the single player missions, you get 15,000 for every 20 bases, and you could easily, if you have a couple of these guys on your team, in an hour, you're going to easily get 15,000 Team Affinity. So kind of for the first time, I'm telling you, don't mess with the March to October. Focus on more team single player missions and these repeatable missions of getting innings and parallel XP with those teams. So that's what I'm telling you to do. Knock out the moments, put all the players on your team. Make sure you understand who you're going for first or second or whatever. Throw them on your team and complete the conquests and knock that out, and then just keep running through. Rinse and repeat all the way to the 200,000 Team Affinity. That being said, you know, each division, you kind of, you could either pick your own division that you want to do, or you could be like, okay, well, I want a specific player that's on the Pirates, so I need to do the NL Central stuff, and I want to get, let's say you want to get one of these players. You want Flaherty. So you're like, well, in order to get Flaherty, I have to be able to do the St. Louis one, so I need to do the NL Central. So that being, you know, doing all that, you basically can go through and complete them that way. What I like to do is kind of do chunks at a time. I like to completely start off basically the same, and then just start playing and see where, oh, I need this player because I need AL West innings pitched to be able to get the XP, and then you're going to start doing other programs and stuff, and you're going to kind of level these up as you go. But this year there's a little bit something different in Team Affinity, and there's kind of, I wouldn't say an easy way. You're not cheating, you're not glitching the system, but there is a really kind of niche thing that a lot of people have been talking about. So if you haven't heard about it, you know, welcome to the channel. I'm glad I could bring it to you as breaking news. So one of the ones is the NL East. You're going to go in here, you're going to go down, and you're going to find single player missions. And at the very bottom, there is a repeatable tally 3 innings pitched with Wagner. In single player Diamond Dynasty game modes, that's play versus CPU, mini seasons, or conquest. You're going to get 10,000 Team Affinity points every time he pitches 3 innings, which, yes, he's a reliever, but 3 innings is not that much. That's basically either 3 games or 1 game you can pitch him for 3 innings. Once he does that, he gets 10,000 Team Affinity, then boom, that resets. You could keep doing this over and over and over again. And that's what people are doing because it is repeatable. Same thing, if you got a couple of guys that just mash, you can repeat the 20 total bases, and you could just ram through these Team Affinities quick. And so normally with Team Affinity, I'm telling people, hey, you might want to do March to October, you get a really good chunk. Well, honestly, the time spent doing March to October, which in my gameplay knowledge has been 10 to 15 hours of gameplay, you could get way more Team Affinity points by doing the single player missions that are repeatable here, whether it be total bases, whether it be innings pitched. The NL East is one of the ones that you can kind of get away with it because it's only 3 innings. The AL Central, I believe, if you go to single player, the bosses is 9 innings with Clace or Greinke. So again, it's going to take a little longer, but I mean, it's not that bad, and they're repeatable, so you can just kind of ram through them and get through them quick, along with the other stuff as well. So the NL East has it. I think does the AL West have one? The AL West has Iglesias or Leclerc, so you could do either one or both, whatever. Tandem it if you want to. You have 3 there as well. I think the rest are all the big ones. Let me check to make sure. And when I say big, I mean 9 innings. So 9 innings with Webb. So basically what you could do is you could do the AL West and the NL East. You can do the 3 innings pitched at a time. You're going to get 10,000 Team Affinity points towards your Team Affinity, and that's going to be the quickest way of getting those 2 completed. So my suggestion for doing these is going to be coming in here, knocking out the Conquest, and the Conquest will actually give you both sides. So if you're going through here and you do the AL or you do the East one, when you complete it, you'll get points for the AL East and the NL East. Same thing with Central. When you complete the Central one, which I'll show you here in a second, go over here, go to Conquest. There's the Team Affinity East, Team Affinity Central, and Team Affinity West. Once you get those complete, you will get the points on both sides. So you'll get the AL Central and the NL Central. You'll get the AL East and the NL East. So you'll get both sides of those. I'm telling you, do the Conquest there to get that done, and then there should be a show down here where you do Team Affinity. You could do this if you feel like this is something that you could do quickly. It is only a couple of them. Some people can kind of just get your couple gold people and go to the end, and you're going to get these vouchers, and then you're going to take the vouchers over and get some points and wherever you need them in the actual program. So all of these take the same amount of vouchers. The exchange season 1 C1 vouchers, you can come in here and exchange them for points, and depending on how quickly you can do them, this might be a viable option instead of trying to get the 9 innings pitched with the starting pitchers. But again, hit out the NL East, hit out the AL West, make sure you knock those, like, don't do only them, but make sure you're using those pitchers anytime you can in the single player modes, because then you're going to be building their Team Affinity very quick. And then again, make sure the very first thing you do in everything is the Conquest. Make sure you have the players, make sure you're adding the players back in when you're doing the Conquest. And the reason you want to do the Conquest is going to give you 30,000 Team Affinity points, which is going to set you all the way up to here already just doing those Conquests. And they're actually pretty quick and easy to go through. They're not very long conquests. Like this one is how many teams?
Attack phase. There are 3 ways.
This one is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams to get through. So you're maybe 9 if they hit each other out, but 10 teams to go through is not that hard. Same thing with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10 there. And then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 there. So just knock those out. You can get those done pretty quickly. It'll take you maybe a couple hours to knock out one of these. So you could probably sit down in a day and knock out all 3 of these and get 30,000 Team Affinity points for both the AL and the NL side, which is going to give you a ton of cards moving forward. Now, the last thing I want to kind of tell you about is if you're going to do that, if you're going to use the programs the way I told you to on the Team Affinity with the AL West and the NL East doing the 3 inning pitches on the single player missions, if you're going to try to do these, make sure you grab these guys the first time you get to pick a player. Don't be like, well, no, I'd rather have so-and-so who's a hitter. Well, yeah, but you're going to pick Wagner first, and you're going to be getting 10,000 at Team Affinity, and by the time he's done like 6 or 9 innings and you've done this 3 times, you're already unlocking the guy you want. So make sure you're going through here and you look at who you need. So Wagner is going to be who you want. So when you're up here and you get to start selecting people, which I believe is here. No, where is it? Right here. So once you get to 60,000 Team Affinity, you're going to come in here and you're going to pick Wagner as your person, and then you're going to throw him in your lineup, and you're going to start just racking up the Team Affinity points, which is going to very quickly get you to the other ones. The other one to do it is the AL West, and there's 2 of them in the AL West, so make sure you select these 2 guys first, and that's going to be Iglesias and Leclerc. Just get them first on the 30,000. And so 30,000, no, 60,000. You're going to get either one, whichever one you want to do. I have heard that there is possibly a glitch with Leclerc on pitching with pinpoint. So I would honestly do Iglesias first, and then the second person I would do once you get to 100,000 is do Leclerc, and then you got both of them basically to go back and forth, which is really going to rack up how quickly you're going to be getting these cards. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Also, feel free to hit that red subscribe button so that way you guys don't miss any more MLB The Show 24 content coming out very soon. Until next time, Slacker out.